Today, when you think of the relationship between the United States and Iran, you probably think of sanctions, nuclear standoffs, and, well, just constant hostility. The thing is, this entire decades-long conflict can be traced back to a single domino that was pushed over 73 years ago. So today, let's connect the dot. And that really is the question we have to ask, because you can't really get a handle on the Iran of today without looking at the Iran of yesterday, which, honestly, was a completely different country. The answer reveals this cycle of action and reaction that has really shaped the entire modern Middle East. Okay, so let's set the scene. We're going back to the early 1950s, and I want you to forget all the images you might have in your head of Iran today. This was a different place, a progressive, democratic nation that was on a totally different track. I mean, we're talking about a modern, secular society. Women were walking the streets of Tehran in Western clothes. They were going to universities, pursuing higher education. It was a real, functioning democracy. But Iran had one thing that made it both incredibly lucky and, as it turns out, incredibly unlucky: oil. For decades, Britain basically had a stranglehold on Iran's oil through the Anglo-Iranian Oil Company. And the numbers here, well, they tell a pretty shocking story. The British government made almost 3 times more in taxes from Iran's oil than the Iranian government itself received in royalties. This wasn't a partnership, let's be honest. It was exploitation. And the Iranian people were getting pretty fed up. And all of that public anger, it found a voice, a champion, in this man, Muhammad Mosaddegh. He was Western educated, he was secular, and he was a fierce nationalist. His whole platform was super simple and wildly popular. Iran's oil should belong to the people of Iran. So, when he gets democratically elected in 1951, he does exactly what he said he'd do. His first big move was to nationalize the oil industry, taking it out of foreign hands and putting it under the control of the Iranian state. He even offered Britain a 50-50 profit split, just like American companies had given Saudi Arabia. But Britain said no. And that single act set that very first domino in motion. Britain, afraid that its other colonies might get similar ideas, ran straight to the United States for help. Now, they didn't sell it to the Americans as being about oil, no. They played the communism card. The US, terrified of Soviet influence, agreed, and the CIA launched Operation Ajax. This slide here basically lays out their playbook. They used propaganda, hired thugs to start riots, and even staged false flag attacks to make it look like communists were a threat. And it worked. Mosaddegh was overthrown. He was placed under house arrest for the rest of his life. And in his place, the US and the UK put their guy on the throne, a pro-Western monarch. This right here, this was the first domino to fall, and it would kick off 25 years of deep, simmering resentment. The new ruler, the Shah, was seen by many, if not most, Iranians as a Western puppet. He lived this life of insane luxury while many of his people struggled. Dissent? Forget about it. It was crushed by his brutal secret police, the SAVAK, who were trained by the CIA, by the way. They imprisoned, tortured, and executed thousands of people. And for 25 years, this anger just bubbled right below the surface. By 1979, the pressure cooker just exploded. Iranians had had enough. And you have to understand, the revolution that followed wasn't some random event. It was a direct, furious backlash against the Shah and against the superpower they blamed for putting him in power in the first place. And wow, did it happen fast? Millions of people protested, the Shah fled the country, and the exiled Ayatollah Khomeini returned to establish a staunchly anti-Western theocracy. Then came the flashpoint. The US allowed the exiled and widely hated Shah into America for cancer treatment. To Iranians, this looked so disturbingly familiar, they thought, here we go again. America's planning to put him back on the throne, just like they did in 1953. Terrified of another 1953-style coup, Iranian students stormed the US Embassy in Tehran, taking 52 Americans hostage. They were held for 444 agonizing days. It's an event that would just poison the well between these two countries forever. Okay, this is the really crucial part to understand. From the American side, obviously, this was a lawless act of terrorism. But from the Iranian perspective, it was a totally different story. They saw the embassy as the nerve center for the coup in '53, and they genuinely believed they were stopping another one from happening. To them, it felt like justified retaliation. So yeah, the hostage crisis, that was the next massive domino to fall. Diplomatic relations were completely severed, America was humiliated on the world stage. And from that point on, the two nations were sworn enemies, and the US started looking for any way it could to undermine the new Iranian regime. And that chance came pretty quick, when neighboring Iraq, led by Saddam Hussein, invaded Iran in 1980. Now, while the US claimed to be neutral, they were anything but. They were backing Iraq. They gave them satellite intelligence, sold them combat helicopters, and maybe worst of all, they turned a blind eye when Saddam used chemical weapons against Iranians, even blocking the UN from condemning it. The message to Iran was crystal clear: America will stop at nothing to see you fail. This long, ugly history brings us right up to today's big flashpoint. After decades of being targeted by a superpower, including one who used chemical weapons against you, with America's quiet approval, what do? Well, Iran started pursuing the ultimate insurance policy, a nuclear program. Iran insisted it was for peaceful energy, the US was convinced it was for a bomb. And for a little while, it actually looked like this cycle could be broken. In 2015, the Iran nuclear deal, the JCPOA, was signed. Iran agreed to dismantle parts of its nuclear program. In exchange, the world would lift the crippling economic sanctions. And you can see it right here in their oil exports. The economy starts to breathe again. It looked like it was working. But then in 2018, the US just walked away from the deal and slapped on a maximum pressure campaign of devastating sanctions. Iran's economy completely collapsed. And in a move that should surprise absolutely no one at this point in the story, Iran retaliated by restarting its nuclear work, enriching uranium to levels higher than ever before. And that lands us where we are today, with these two perspectives that just can't be squared. From Washington's point of view, they're trying to contain a dangerous regime that sponsors terror and is racing to get a nuclear bomb. But from Tehran's point of view, they're defending their nation against a superpower that destroyed their democracy back in 1953 and has been trying to break their country ever since. You see how every single event, from the coup to the hostage crisis to this nuclear standoff, is a direct reaction to whatever came before it. It's just a chain of dominoes that's been falling for over 70 years. And the question we're all left with is, can a cycle like this ever really be broken? Or is it just destined to repeat over and over again?